Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, Senator Sen.Kalu calls for political resolution in Mazi Kanu's case, raises alarm over impact of insecurity in Southeast. 38 abducted worshippers regain freedom after Kwara church attack. Bauchi shuts all public and private schools amid rising student kidnapping. PDP urges former Governor Sule Lamido to support party stabilization efforts. Abia government says land reforms have eliminated middleman, improved C of O processing. On business news, federal government ends pioneer status applications ahead of transition to new economic tax incentive. Dangote Group unveils $700 million expansion plan to boost sugar production. On the foreign scene, Philippines capital Manila bans face covering headgear. Turkish Airlines suspends Istanbul-Caracas flights after U.S. airspace advisory. On sports, Badia Shield makes surprise return ahead of clash with Barcelona. Fabio Wardley eyes Anthony Joshua clash after WBO triumph. Now the news. Former governor of Abia State, Senator Sen.Kalu has urged the federal government to pursue a political solution to the ongoing legal battle involving the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Kanu. Senator Kalu said that while Mazi Kanu's lawyers moved to challenge his recent conviction at the Court of Appeal, he has continued to engage relevant government authorities on the need for a broader approach that addresses the root causes of unrest in the Southeast. He expressed concern that public discussions often focus solely on Mazi Kanu's trial while overlooking the severe impact on insecurity on communities in the region. He stated that thousands of people have lost their lives in violence linked to separatist agitation and the subsequent security operations. He also noted that many businesses have shut down. Workers have lost their livelihoods, and entire commercial hubs, especially in cities like Aba, have suffered significant economic setbacks. The senator recalled his involvement in securing Mazi Kanu's earlier release in 2017, explaining that he had mounted significant pressure on the then administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. He said he is prepared to continue similar engagements by consulting the Attorney General, Minister Lateef Fagbemi, to advise President Bola Tinubu on possible political pathways to resolving the issue. Senator Kalu insisted that while political dialogue is important, individuals involved in violent crimes must still face justice. He stressed that the judiciary's decision must be respected and that disagreements should be pursued through legal channels rather than confrontational reactions. He linked the rise in nationwide insecurity to political motivations, arguing that both local and international actors sometimes exploit tensions during election season to destabilize governments. According to him, similar patterns were observed during President Goodluck Jonathan. He expressed confidence in the current administration's capacity to address the situation and ensure the recovery of all who have been kidnapped. Meanwhile, reactions continue to trail the recent judgment delivered by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, which found Mazi Kanu guilty of terrorism-related offenses. The court ruled that the prosecution has successfully proved its case and imposed a life sentence on several of the charges, with additional terms set to run concurrently. Mazi Kanu's legal team, led by consultant Aloy Ejimako, has vowed to contest the ruling of the appellate level. As debates intensify, Senator Kalu maintains that only a combination of legal processes, political engagement, and a holistic look at the effect of insecurity across Igbo communities will bring lasting peace to the Southeast. The 38 members of the Christ Apostolic Church CAC Okeseguneruku in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, who were abducted by bandits during a Thanksgiving service, have regained their freedom after 5 days in captivity. The state government confirmed their release through a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, Mr. Rafiu Ajakaye. According to the government, the rescue was achieved through coordinated efforts, involving President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and multiple security agencies. The government credited the breakthrough to the president's direct involvement, noting that he suspended his planned trip to G20 meeting in South Africa to focus on security breaches in Kwara and Kebbi states. The president also ordered increased security deployment to the affected areas, a move the state government said significantly boosted rescue efforts. Security agencies involved in the operations included the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, and the Nigerian Police Force, which recently deployed 4 additional tactical teams to the state on presidential directive. The governor expressed appreciation to security operatives, community leaders, religious institutions, and residents of Kwara for their support throughout the ordeal. Further updates on the rescued victims were still awaited as investigations and follow-up procedures continue. The Bauchi state government has ordered the immediate closure of all primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions across the state as insecurity continues to escalate, particularly with the recent surge in student abductions. The directive announced by the State Ministry of Education affects schools owned by the state, private operators, and the federal government. The decision followed extensive consultations and growing concerns over the safety of students, teachers, and school communities. According to the government, the measure became necessary as security threats intensified across several localities, prompting fears of further attacks on educational institutions. The state authorities described the closure as temporary but urgent steps to protect learners and staff while comprehensive security interventions are being pursued. The government urged parents, guardians, and school proprietors to remain calm, assuring them that efforts were underway with security agencies to stabilize the situation and restore safe learning conditions as quickly as possible. Bauchi's shutdown comes amid a wider wave of school closures triggered by rising insecurity nationwide. The federal government recently suspended activities in 41 unity schools, while the governor of Kwara, Plateau, Niger, Benue, and Katsina have also ordered schools closures in their states to prevent further abductions. The situation continues to raise significant concern over the safety of educational environments in northern Nigeria, where repeated attacks on schools have disrupted academic calendars and heightened anxiety amongst families. The national leadership of the People's Democratic Party has appealed to former Jigawa State Governor Alhaji Sule Lamido to support ongoing efforts aimed at stabilizing the party amid its lingering leadership crisis. The appeal follows Alhaji Lamido's recent interview in which he criticized the party's handling of its internal dispute and referenced the court case he filed challenging aspects of the PDP's national convention. Reacting to the development, a close associate of PDP National Chairman Alhaji Kabiru Tani Muturaki San, Mr. Umar Sani, clarified that several of Alhaji Lamido's claims were inaccurate. Mr. Sani stated that no court ruling stopped the PDP from holding its national convention, explaining that the directive referenced by Alhaji Lamido only required the party to allow him to participate in the contest after verification. An order the PDP has appealed at the Supreme Court. He added that a separate court sitting in Ibadan granted the party explicit permission to proceed with the convention, which subsequently produced new elected national officers. The position contradicts Alhaji Lamido's claim that the PDP currently lacks legitimate leadership. He urged the former governor to prioritize unity within the party, especially at a time when internal disputes risk undermining its organizational strength and public perception. The leadership believes that Alhaji Lamido's cooperation with the national chairman, Alhaji Turaki, is essential to consolidate the party structure and prevent further divisions. The Abia state government says its ongoing land administration reforms have eliminated middlemen in the process of obtaining certificates of occupancy, COO, resulted in faster and more transparent service delivery. The Commissioner of Lands, Mr. Chaka Chukwumerije, explained that the reforms were introduced to correct long-standing inefficiencies inherited by the present administration. He said the streamlined system has made the process of securing a CFO swift and seamless, removing individuals who previously exploited applicants. According to him, the state's policy of issuing certificates of occupancy within 30 days of application has significantly boosted the number of approvals. From May 2023, when Governor Alex Otti assumed office, a total of 3,256 certificates of occupancy have been issued. Of these figure, 1,778 were issued in 2025, making it the highest annual record since 1999 and surpassing the total number issued in the 7 years preceding the current administration. The commissioner said the 30-day CFO policy has strengthened ease of doing business, enhanced property security, improved access to mortgages, and facilitated title transfers. He attributed the efficiency to a one-stop service center established by the ministry to handle applications within a monitored time frame. The state government is also undertaking a comprehensive mapping of Abia, expected to be completed by May 2026. The exercise covers the state's over 4,000 square kilometers and involves installing geodetic control points across 66 locations. The mapping will provide accurate base imagery for structural planning, aid the development of a master plan for the state, and support the identification of key public and security assets. The commissioner also announced that the ministry has resumed strict enforcement of statutory land payments, including ground rents and title modifications following the expiration of waivers granted in 2023 and 2024. He added the land has been acquired for multiple government projects in sectors such as aviation, housing, agriculture, industry, power and education, and healthcare. Major acquisitions include the site for the proposed Abia Airport in Sulu and lands connected to the Abia Palm project in Ukwa East and parts of Ugunabo. Mr. Chukwumerije further disclosed that the ministry has rehabilitated several public facilities, including the state secretariat, where water supply, electricity, and security systems have been restored to improve working conditions for civil servants. This is ComfortTV.Channel News. We'll return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned to ComfortTV.Channel News. In the world of business, the federal government has halted the receipt of the application for the Pioneer Status Incentive (PSI), signaling the end of 3-year tax-free incentives previously available to new businesses. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission (NIPC) said the decision marks the final phase of preparations for the rollout of the Economic Development Tax Incentive (EDTI) scheme, which will take full effect on January 1, 2026. The Commission advised investors and corporate organizations to align their compliance processes with the new framework and urged both current PSI beneficiaries and potential applicants to engage the NIPC for guidance on transitioning to the EDTI regime. The Pioneer Status Incentive, created under the Industrial Development Income Tax Relief Act, has supported companies operating in sectors deemed vital to national development, including manufacturing, agriculture, infrastructure, and technology. It grants qualified companies a 100% exemption from company income tax for an initial 3 years, with the possibility of a 2-year extension, bringing the maximum benefit to 5 years. The EDTI will replace the PSI with a more targeted and investment-driven approach. The new scheme focuses on priority sectors, primarily manufacturing, followed by services and infrastructure, with emphasis on industries that generate strong multiplier effect across the economy. A major feature of the EDTI is the introduction of mandatory minimum investment thresholds to ensure only high-impact, scalable projects qualify. For example, companies in capital-intensive sectors such as utilities will be required to invest at least 200 billion naira before becoming eligible for the incentive. Still on business, Dangote Group has announced plans to eliminate Nigeria's reliance on imported sugar through a $700 million expansion project designed to significantly boost local production. The investments channeled through Dangote Sugar Refinery DSR will cover land development, equipment acquisition, infrastructure, workforce training, and extensive community engagement. The goal is to establish a fully integrated supply chain capable of producing enough raw sugar locally to meet national demand and support future industrial growth. Speaking at the 2025 Lagos International Trade Fair, DSR Chief Executive Officer Mr. Ravindra Singhvi said the initiative aligns the company's ongoing backward integration strategy. He added that new sugar pack sizes 100 grams, 250 grams, 500 grams, and 1 kilogram will be introduced to improve affordability and accessibility for households and small businesses. Group Executive Director for Commercial Operations, Mrs. Fatima Aliko Dangote, said the broader objective remains to strengthen Nigeria's industrial capacity and retain more value within the domestic economy. According to her, large-scale industrial projects offer a reliable path to job creation and provide support for smaller enterprises that depend on local manufacturing. She noted that the sugar development plan aligns with the wider group's activities in refining fertilizers and petrochemicals. Dangote Sugar Refinery is Nigeria's largest sugar producer with an installed capacity of 1.44 million metric tons. On the foreign scene, the Philippine capital Manila has banned the wearing of any headgear that covers the face inside government, commercial and public establishments as well as in public places. The Manila Public Information Office said that the city's government has begun enforcing the ban on helmets, face masks, balaclavas, caps, hoodies, and tinted visors in designated areas. The restriction applies to both riders and passengers, prohibiting the use of face-covering headgear when not riding a motorcycle or while standing in public places, including streets, sidewalks, markets, parks, and parking lots. Individuals may face penalties if they refuse to remove their headgear when asked by law enforcement personnel, barangay officials, security guards, or government authorities. Exemptions include health workers, law enforcement officers, motorcycle riders while in motion, and individuals wearing turbans or other headgear for religious reasons. Violators will face increase in penalties, a fine of 1,000 Philippine pesos, about $17 for the first offense, 3,000 pesos, around $51 for the second, and 5,000 pesos, roughly 85%, for the third and subsequent offenses. Offenders may also face up to 15 days in jail, along with a possible recommendation to revoke their driver's license. Moving on, Turkish Airlines has temporarily suspended flights between Istanbul and Caracas following the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration FAA security advisory warning of heightened risk in Venezuelan airspace. The suspension, which runs from November 24 to 28, 2025, comes as several international carriers halt operations to the country amid rising regional tensions. The FAA alert cited the presence of advanced military aircraft, air defense systems, and anti-aircraft artillery capable of reaching civilian flight altitudes. While the advisory does not impose a full ban, U.S. carriers are required to provide 72-hour notice before flying through the region. In response, Turkish Airlines cancelled multiple flights on the Istanbul-Caracas route during the specified period. Passengers affected by the suspension are being rebooked on alternative routes through Bogota, Panama, Cancun, or Havana. The airline emphasized that its Istanbul-Havana service continues to operate normally, and travel agents have been instructed to use specific waiver codes for itinerary changes. The security concerns have prompted other major airlines, including LATAM, TAP, Iberia, Avianca, Gol, and Caribbean Airlines, to temporarily suspend operations to Venezuela, significantly reducing the country's international air connectivity. The flight disruptions come amid escalating U.S.-Venezuela tensions, including the deployment of U.S. naval assets such as the USS Gerald R. Ford to the region. In response, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has mobilized militia forces, and senior officials have condemned U.S. policies, creating a climate of instability that is affecting civilian aviation. Onto the world of sport. Ahead of clash with Barcelona, Chelsea defender Benoit Badiashile has made a surprising return to action just days before his team's crucial Champions League clash with Barcelona. The French centre-back, who was expected to be sidelined until December due to a muscle injury, played 45 minutes in Chelsea's recent 2-0 victory over Burnley. Badiashili's early comeback comes after weeks of uncertainty, during which Stamford Bridge has indicated a long-term absence. The defender has managed only 4 appearances this season, totaling 192 minutes across all competitions. His sudden return raises the possibility of him featuring against Barcelona, though the club may exercise caution given the high-intensity nature of the fixture. Barcelona, meanwhile, remain focused on their attacking strengths and approach the match with confidence despite the potential return of the Chelsea defender. Still on sports, Anthony Joshua out of World Championship contention since his 2021 loss to Alexander Usyk could be positioning himself for a return to the heavyweight title scene. The former 3-belt champion rose to prominence with victories over fighters including Vladimir Klitschko, Kubrat Pulev, Alexander Povetkin, and Carlos Takam, establishing himself as one of the division's leading figures. Since his defeat to Usyk, Joshua suffered the second loss a year later and was stopped by then IBF champion Daniel Dubois in 5 rounds, leaving him without a belt. He is scheduled to return next month against Jake Paul in a fight described by promoter Eddie Hearn as a tune-up ahead of larger contest in 2026. Newly crowned WBO champion Fabio Wardley has expressed interest in a future bout with Joshua. Wardley, who plans a series of title defenses before pursuing unification fights, said a clash with Joshua would be a career highlight and described the former champion as a major inspiration. Joshua and Wardley previously shared trainer Ben Davison, but Joshua has revealed he will now work with Alexander Usyk's coaching team. The move could set the stage for a potential showdown with Wardley and other top heavyweights in the near future, signaling a possible return to title contention for the British boxer. And that's our news this morning. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. Senator Sen.Kalu calls for political resolution in Mazi Kanu's case, raises alarm over impact of insecurity in Southeast. 38 abducted worshippers regain freedom after Kwara church attack. Bauchi shuts all public and private schools amid rise in student kidnappings. PDP urges former Governor Sule Lamido to support party stabilization efforts. Abia government says land reforms have eliminated middlemen, improved CFO processing. On business, federal government ends pioneer status applications ahead of transition to new economic tax incentive scheme. On the foreign scene, Philippines capital Manila bans face covering headgear. And on sports, Chelsea's Badiashile makes surprise return ahead of clash with Barcelona. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel across all platforms. Remember to like, share our videos, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification button so you don't miss out on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.